There is a kind of power that needs no words. You feel it when someone walks into a room and says nothing, yet somehow, everyone notices them. They do not chase attention, they do not perform, but their presence speaks louder than volume ever could. That is the art of silent attractiveness. It is not about being the loudest or the most charming. It is about being rooted, calm, grounded in who you are. And when you learn to carry yourself with that kind of quiet strength, you stop needing to prove anything. The world simply feels it. If you believe that stillness can be stronger than noise, if you feel drawn to the power of calm presence, take a moment to subscribe to Stoic Legacy. It is free, and it helps this message reach more people who need it. Now, let us begin. Habit number 1. Embrace your authentic independence. There is a kind of silent power that flows through someone who no longer seeks applause to feel worthy, who walks into a room without announcing themselves, yet somehow everyone takes notice. That's the magnetism of authentic independence. It's not loud, not rebellious, not some declaration that you need no one. It's a calm assurance that you're enough, even in solitude. When you stop looking outward to feel complete, and instead begin building a life that's aligned with your own values, something inside you shifts. You walk differently, speak differently, and others feel it. You become untouchable by comparison, immune to the hunger for approval, because you've fed yourself something deeper, something real. This kind of independence doesn't isolate you from others, it elevates your relationships. You're no longer entering connections from a place of need, but from strength. You don't look for someone to complete you, because you already stand whole. And in a world where most people are chasing validation, that kind of centeredness is magnetic. People can't explain why they're drawn to you, but they are. They see someone grounded, not easily swayed by opinions or trends, someone who doesn't follow, but leads quietly by example. But make no mistake, authentic independence isn't born overnight. It comes from doing the inner work. From learning to sit with your own silence without needing to fill it. From trusting your decisions when they go against the grain. From standing firm when you're misunderstood, from walking your path even when you walk it alone. It takes courage to say, I won't compromise who I am just to belong. It takes strength to choose peace over people-pleasing. But once you begin living this way, something incredible happens. You start attracting people who respect your boundaries. Who see your worth without you having to convince them. Who don't want to control you, but walk beside you, because they feel your presence makes them better. That's the beauty of true independence. It doesn't push people away, it draws the right ones in. If you want to cultivate it, start with honesty. Ask yourself, am I living for others, or for me? Reflect on the choices you make daily. Are they a reflection of your truth or a reaction to someone else's expectations? Begin spending time with yourself not just to be alone, but to rediscover what truly matters to you. Go for walks without your phone. Sit in silence. Journal your thoughts. Listen to your inner voice. That voice, the one you've been silencing beneath the noise, it knows the way. And when you follow it, your life begins to shift. Not in dramatic fireworks, but in subtle, powerful ways. You become less reactive, more steady, less hungry for attention, more at peace with your own presence. And the world responds. Because independence, when rooted in self-respect, doesn't just change how you see yourself. It changes how others see you too. They begin to feel something rare in your presence. A calm strength. A quiet confidence. A person who walks tall not because they need to be seen, but because they're at peace with being unseen. That's what makes you silently magnetic. Not because you try, but because you've already found everything you need within. Habit number 2. Master the art of silent elegance. Sometimes the most powerful presence in the room says nothing at all. They don't dominate conversations or fill space with unnecessary noise. They move with calm intention. They speak with purpose. They carry a kind of quiet grace that turns heads not because they're trying to be seen but because they embody presence. This is silent elegance. It's not a performance, not about fashion or perfection. It's an energy. It's how you walk, how you listen, how you respond. It's about restraint, refinement, and self-respect. It's the art of doing less, but meaning more. And in a world addicted to drama, volume, and showmanship, this kind of poise is magnetic. Think of someone who walks into a crowded space and without a word commands the atmosphere. Their posture is upright but relaxed. Their gaze is steady but kind. Their movements are minimal but precise. They do not fidget or boast. They do not rush. They are fully present. People feel their calm, and that calm becomes contagious. Silent elegance is body language, but it's also soul language. It is not just how you look. It is how you make others feel. It is treating every person with the same quiet dignity. It is knowing when to speak and when to simply hold the space. It is not needing to prove your worth because your composure already proves it. The Stoics believed deeply in this inner stillness. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that calm minds create true strength. That strength isn't loud. It's contained, controlled, collected. And when you walk through life with that kind of inner discipline, you become unforgettable. To master this habit, start with self-awareness. Watch yourself in everyday moments. Notice how you walk into a room. Notice how you sit, how you listen, how you respond when challenged. Are you reactive or are you steady? Are you chasing the spotlight or allowing your presence to be enough? Silent elegance means choosing depth over display. It means speaking only when your words carry weight. It means letting your behavior reflect a higher standard without needing to declare it. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to carry yourself with refinement. Not perfection. Refinement. There is beauty in subtlety. In not interrupting. In listening fully. In offering a kind word when it's least expected. In being generous with your presence, not just your opinions. Silent elegance is not about hiding. It is about rising above the noise. It is what happens when you align your outer behavior with your inner strength. And you do not need money or status to possess it. You need only self-respect and intention. When you cultivate silent elegance, people begin to associate you with calm, with peace, with depth. They may not even know why, but they will feel it. And they will remember you for it. Not because you are the loudest or the flashiest, but because you reminded them what it feels like to be grounded, steady, whole. And in a chaotic world, that kind of presence is priceless. Quietly, silently, elegantly powerful. Habit number 3. The subtle scent of sophistication. Sometimes it's the smallest, quietest detail that leaves the deepest mark. The scent you carry, though invisible, speaks volumes. A soft, refined fragrance that lingers after you've walked away can make someone remember you long after the words are forgotten. It's not about overwhelming perfume or cologne. It's about subtlety. Sophistication. It's the quiet whisper of self-respect and attention to detail. When someone smells clean, composed, and effortlessly elegant, it's a silent message that says, I take care of myself, I value how I move through the world. This is not vanity. This is presence. People are drawn to those who carry themselves with grace, and scent is an extension of that grace. The Stoics would agree. Seneca once wrote that your outer appearance should reflect the calm of your inner soul. The scent you wear is a choice, a reflection of who you are without needing to speak. It is not meant to impress, but to express. A hint of freshness. A touch of warmth. Something that enhances, not defines. A scent that makes people lean in, not step away. But it's more than fragrance. It's hygiene. Clean, well-groomed hair. Breath that feels fresh. skin that's cared for, clothes that feel crisp, even if simple. These things don't need to be expensive. They need to be intentional. When you respect your body, people sense it. When you walk into a room having taken the time to prepare, even quietly, people notice. They may not comment on it, but they feel it. And it changes how they respond to you. Your presence feels intentional. Your confidence feels earned. To cultivate this habit, begin with mindfulness. Choose a scent that feels like you. Not what's trendy, but what reflects your calm. Pay attention to the small rituals of care. Trim your nails. Wear clean clothes. Stand tall. These are not about appearance. These are about energy. The message they send is simple. I am here, and I respect myself enough to show up whole. And that message, when delivered silently, can be more attractive than anything you say. It is understated power. And that is what makes it unforgettable. Habit number 4. Being fully present. In a world that constantly competes for your attention, there is something deeply magnetic about someone who chooses to be fully present. Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You felt it before, that rare moment when someone is entirely with you, looking into your eyes, listening without planning what to say next, not checking their phone or glancing away. They don't interrupt, they don't rush. They're just there, completely. And in that moment, you feel seen. You feel important. That is the silent power of presence. It doesn't shout, it doesn't perform. It simply is. Being fully present is not a skill reserved for the wise or the gifted. It's a choice. A habit. A discipline of awareness. When you master it, you don't need to be interesting, because you are interested. You don't need to command the room, because your attention quietly commands respect. This habit creates connection, because it makes people feel valued. And people never forget how you made them feel. The Stoics knew the value of presence. Marcus Aurelius said, "Confine yourself to the present." That wasn't just advice. It was a way of life. When you're fully present, you're not trapped in yesterday's regret or tomorrow's anxiety. You're here, now, grounded. And that grounding, that calm, that's what people gravitate to. It's not just about being a good listener. It's about offering your undivided self. No distraction. No pretense. Just your full attention, as a gift. And that gift, in today's distracted world, is rare. Being present also sharpens your awareness. You start noticing more. The way someone hesitates before they speak. The shift in their tone. The unspoken message behind their words. You become emotionally intelligent, not because you study psychology, but because you're tuned in. To cultivate this habit, begin with the little moments. When you speak with someone, put your phone down. Turn your body toward them. Maintain soft, steady eye contact. Breathe. Listen, not just to respond, but to understand. At first, your mind will wander. That's natural. But the more you practice returning to the moment, the stronger your presence becomes. This applies everywhere. At the dinner table. In meetings. On a walk. In your own thoughts. Presence is not something you have. It's something you build. Slowly. Intentionally. And as it deepens, so does your impact. People will begin to feel something around you. Safe. Heard. Calm. They won't know why. But you will. Because you've made the choice to be here, fully. And that choice. That quiet, consistent choice. It changes everything. Presence turns ordinary moments into meaningful ones. It turns brief encounters into lasting impressions. And it makes you the kind of person others feel drawn to. Not because you try, but because your energy tells them you matter. And that message, spoken without a word, echoes louder than any voice ever could. Habit number 5. A touch of mystery. There is something undeniably captivating about a person you can't fully figure out. Someone who doesn't reveal every thought or emotion. Someone who leaves you curious. That is the essence of mystery, and when it's quiet, when it's subtle, it becomes powerfully attractive. In a world obsessed with oversharing, mystery is rare. It's not about being secretive or distant. It's about knowing that not everything about you has to be known. That some things are better left unsaid, some stories left untold, not to deceive, but to preserve something sacred. Yourself. Mystery isn't a game. It's a form of self-respect. When you don't rush to explain every move, when you don't feel the need to justify every decision, when you hold space for privacy in a world that demands exposure, you create intrigue. You invite others to wonder. And in that wondering, they are drawn in. Not because you forced them to look, but because you gave them something to think about. The Stoics understood this power. They valued restraint. Epictetus said, "Be silent or let your words be worth more than silence." That silence, that control, it isn't weakness. It's composure. The ability to choose when to speak and when to stay quiet. That balance is where mystery lives. And it's where attraction grows. To be mysterious, you don't need to withhold everything. You need to be intentional. Share what matters. Share what builds connection. But leave something for time. For trust. Let people discover you slowly. Layer by layer. Let them earn your truths. When you do this, your presence becomes more than your words. It becomes a story they want to read, one chapter at a time. You don't have to reveal all your passions, all your fears, all your past. Let your actions speak. Let your values show. But hold something back, something only few will see. This creates depth. And depth is rare. In every conversation, you have a choice. To overshare for validation or to speak with purpose. Choose purpose. Choose stillness. Choose presence. When others are loud with their stories, be quiet with your strength. That contrast will draw them to you. And not just anyone, but the ones who value depth. Who appreciate patience. Who seek substance. Mystery also lives in how you carry yourself. In your calm. In your focus. In your refusal to explain yourself every time someone misunderstands you. Let your silence say more than their noise ever could. Let your life, your energy, your principles, speak for you. And if someone doesn't understand you, let that be okay. Mystery isn't about being understood by everyone. It's about being discovered by those who truly see. So ask yourself, do I protect my energy or do I give it away to feel seen? Do I share from a place of strength or from fear of being forgotten? Mystery, when rooted in self-respect, makes you unforgettable. You don't have to say much. You don't have to be flashy. Just be solid. Be present. And let your silence speak the loudest in a world that can't stop talking. That is the power of a touch of mystery. It invites without begging. It lingers without explanation. And it creates an allure that no performance ever could. Habit number 6. Cultivate cultural wisdom. There is a deep, silent power in those who move through the world with awareness that stretches beyond their own experience. Cultural wisdom is not just about knowing facts or quoting philosophers. It is about understanding. It is about empathy. It is about seeing the world with open eyes and an open mind. The person who listens before they speak, who asks questions not to prove they are smart but to understand, carries a quiet allure that captivates without trying. In a room full of noise, they become a calm presence. Their energy is felt. Their words carry weight not because they are loud but because they are grounded in perspective. Cultural wisdom is not limited to travel or education. It is found in your curiosity, in your willingness to ask why people believe what they believe, in your respect for traditions that are not your own, in your refusal to judge what you do not yet understand. This kind of wisdom makes you someone who connects easily and deeply, because people feel safe around those who do not impose. They feel heard by those who seek to understand. And in that space, attraction grows. Not the kind born of appearances or charm, but the kind born of substance. The Stoics urged us to look beyond appearances. Marcus Aurelius reminded us not to be deceived by the surface. Cultural wisdom is the act of living by that reminder, of seeing beneath what is presented and exploring the roots of behavior, history, language, and emotion. When you carry this mindset, people sense it. They trust you. They are drawn to your perspective because it feels earned, not memorized. You become a mirror that reflects the world honestly yet gently. And that is rare. To develop this habit, begin by becoming a student of life. Read stories that challenge your views. Watch the way different people live and ask yourself what you can learn. Not to change who you are, but to broaden your understanding of what it means to be human. Speak less. Listen more. Let your thoughts marinate before you voice them. That silence before you speak, that pause, tells the world you are thoughtful. It tells the world you are not here to dominate but to elevate the conversation. It tells the world you see more than just what is in front of you. That you see the weight behind a word, the pain behind a smile, the story behind a tradition. Cultural wisdom is not about showing off your knowledge. It is about showing up with humility. It is about understanding that every person you meet has lived a life you have never lived, and choosing to approach them not with assumptions but with presence. When you live this way, people will not forget you. They will want to talk to you not because you entertain them but because you understand them. That is silent attraction. It is depth over display, insight over impulse. And it begins when you choose to see the world not through your own reflection but through the eyes of others. Cultivating cultural wisdom will not just make you attractive. It will make you unforgettable. Because in a world where everyone is shouting to be heard, you are the one who listens. The one who sees. The one who knows without ever needing to say it. Habit number 7. The heartbeat of compassion. In a world that moves too fast and feels too loud, there is something deeply magnetic about someone who simply cares. Not to impress. Not to gain anything in return. But because they choose to lead with empathy in a world that has forgotten how. Compassion is not about weakness. It is about strength. A quiet kind of strength that makes people feel seen, safe, and valued without a single demand being made. Most people walk through life carrying invisible battles. You never know how much pain hides behind a smile, how much fear lingers in someone's silence. But the compassionate person feels it. Not because they are trying to fix others, but because they are fully present. Their attention is pure. Their presence is grounding. Their kindness is consistent. And in that gentle presence, people let go. They soften. They feel understood without having to explain themselves. This is the rare beauty of compassion. It meets others where they are. It asks nothing. It gives everything. The Stoics spoke of control over emotion, but they never preached coldness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." That is not detachment. That is emotional maturity. True compassion is the ability to sit with someone else's pain without needing to make it about you. It is the act of listening not to reply, but to understand. It is found in the smallest moments. The patient nod when someone struggles to speak. The gentle tone when tension fills the air. The kindness that expects nothing in return. And in those quiet moments, you become unforgettable. Because people will forget what you said. But they will never forget how you made them feel. Compassion does not require you to be perfect. It asks only that you be human. That you show up. That you choose presence over performance. In this way, it becomes a powerful habit of silent attraction. When others see that you care without agenda, they are drawn to you. Because trust is built where kindness lives. Because vulnerability feels safe where compassion stands watch. To cultivate this habit, begin with yourself. Treat your own thoughts with gentleness. Offer yourself the patience you wish others gave you. Then extend that to the world. Slow down. Look people in the eye. Ask how they are and mean it. And when they answer, listen. Truly listen. Because in that listening, you offer something most never receive. You offer space. You offer grace. You offer peace. And people will come back for that. Not because they need you to fix them, but because your presence helps them feel whole again. This is the silent heartbeat of compassion. It does not shout. It does not beg. It simply beats steadily in the background, changing lives in the quietest ways. When you embody this, your attractiveness is no longer about looks or words. It is about the emotional warmth you carry. The peace you bring. The gentle reminder that even in a cold world, kindness still exists. And that kind of presence, once felt, is never forgotten. Habit number 8. Laughter and joy. There is a rare and radiant beauty in the person who carries light in their heart, who can laugh without fear and smile without reason, not because life is easy, but because they have learned to embrace it all with grace. Laughter is not just noise, it is medicine. Joy is not just pleasure, it is power. In a world heavy with burdens, those who can offer even a moment of levity become sanctuaries of warmth, and people are drawn to them, not because they are the loudest in the room, but because their presence lifts the atmosphere like the sun breaking through clouds. True joy is not forced, it does not beg for attention, it flows from within. It is found in the person who can laugh at their own flaws, who does not take themselves so seriously, and who carries with them an unshakable sense of peace, even when the world feels chaotic. This is not ignorance of pain, but resilience in the face of it. The Stoics did not shy away from hardship, but they knew the value of perspective. Epictetus said it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. When you meet life's unpredictability with humor, you show that your spirit cannot be broken. You become the kind of person others want around, not because you entertain, but because your energy reminds them to breathe, to soften, to feel safe being themselves. Shared laughter is the bond that turns strangers into friends, that disarms conflict, that bridges differences. And when you are the source of that laughter, not by trying to be funny, but by being genuinely joyful, you offer something priceless. The silently attractive person is not always stoic in expression, but steady in joy. They do not wear a mask of cheerfulness, but they choose, each day, to find light in the cracks. And this choice, repeated over time, becomes a glow that others feel even before a word is spoken. To cultivate this habit, start with gratitude. Notice what makes you smile. Embrace the imperfections of your day with a sense of humor. Laugh when you trip, when things go wrong, when plans fall apart, not because you dismiss the pain, but because you choose not to be ruled by it. Spend time with those who uplift you, who remind you that joy is not only allowed, it is necessary. And when you laugh, do it fully. Let it echo. Let it be real. Because that authenticity, that ability to feel joy even when things are imperfect, is one of the most magnetic qualities a human can possess. Laughter, when rooted in wisdom and grounded in resilience, becomes a signal to the world that you are alive, unburdened, and free. It makes you unforgettable, not because you demand attention, but because you offer something so rare in today's world. So be the one who smiles first, who finds humor in the ordinary, who shares joy like sunlight. Because in that softness, in that choice to celebrate even the smallest beauty, you become silently powerful. You leave others better than you found them. And that is the kind of presence people crave, remember, and return to. Habit number 9. The art of self-care. There is something quietly captivating about a person who takes care of themselves, not for show, not to impress, but because they deeply respect their own existence. Self-care is not a trend or a luxury, it is a silent declaration that you matter, that your body, your mind, and your peace are worth protecting. It is the habit of showing up for yourself even when no one is watching, especially then. When you build a life where you consistently nourish your well-being, you begin to glow differently. You walk with a quiet confidence that needs no validation, because you know that your strength comes from within. True self-care is not about perfect skin or rigid routines, it is about honoring yourself with consistency and compassion. It is in the food you choose to fuel your body, in the rest you allow yourself after long days, in the gentle way you speak to yourself when you fall short. People notice those who move through the world with balance, those who are not constantly reacting, but responding. That composure is earned, not inherited. The Stoics believed in the harmony of body and mind. Seneca said, "A sound mind in a sound body is a short but full description of a happy state in this world." Self-care brings that harmony to life. When you exercise regularly, eat clean, rest deeply, and protect your time and energy, you create space for your best self to emerge. And that version of you is magnetic. Not loud, not flashy, just grounded. You become the person who walks into a room and immediately makes others feel a sense of calm, simply because you are calm within yourself. But this practice goes beyond the physical. Emotional self-care means setting boundaries that guard your peace. It means saying no without guilt and yes without fear. It means recognizing that your energy is not infinite and learning to spend it wisely. You stop explaining your worth to people who cannot see it, and you start investing more into the things and people that make you feel alive. Self-care is also about forgiveness, about allowing yourself to be imperfect without losing sight of your growth. It is about showing yourself the same patience you offer others, and realizing that progress is not linear. It is choosing to heal, to grow, and to thrive, over and over again. Ask yourself, do your daily choices reflect love for yourself, or punishment? Do you treat your body and your mind as sacred, or as afterthoughts? Begin small. Drink more water. Go for a walk. Sleep without guilt. Say no without shame. These simple acts, repeated daily, rebuild your self-respect from the inside out. Over time, your life starts to feel less like survival and more like intention. And when that shift happens, others feel it. You do not have to announce your glow, it speaks for itself. The art of self-care is not selfish. It is the foundation of your power. It is the quiet force that allows you to show up fully, to love deeply, to live with clarity. And in a world that glorifies burnout and busyness, being someone who is whole, who is cared for, becomes a radical act of silent attraction. You become the calm in the storm, the steady in the chaos, the light in the noise. All because you chose to value yourself first. Habit number 10. Emotional intelligence and social awareness. There is a rare kind of power in someone who knows how to read a room, how to listen beyond words, how to respond without letting their emotions take the lead. That is the essence of emotional intelligence and social awareness. It is not about being clever with your words or calculated in your actions, it is about presence. Deep, attuned presence. The kind of presence that makes people feel seen, safe, and understood. When you walk into a conversation and you are not thinking about what to say next but actually hearing what is being said, you become magnetic. Emotional intelligence begins with the ability to recognize your own emotions, to understand what you are feeling without being ruled by it. It is the discipline of the inner world. It is knowing that anger might rise, but peace can still lead. It is sensing jealousy but choosing support. It is hearing criticism and not crumbling, but instead reflecting with clarity. That self-awareness becomes your superpower. People can feel when you are in control of yourself. They trust you more. They open up. Because there is something grounding about being around someone who does not spiral with the wind. And then there is empathy, the quiet strength of feeling with someone, not for them. It is not about solving their problems or fixing their pain. It is about being there. Fully. Listening with your eyes. Nodding with sincerity. Holding space when words are too heavy. When you are empathetic, you make people feel like they matter. That feeling lingers far longer than anything you say. Social awareness, the other half of this habit, is about sensitivity to the energy of a room. It is the skill of observation. The humility of knowing when to speak and when to be silent. The grace of stepping forward when needed, and stepping back when others need space. The Stoics taught that wisdom is not found in constant expression, but in thoughtful restraint. Epictetus reminded us we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so we can listen twice as much as we speak. In practice, this looks like paying attention to body language, tone, rhythm. It means noticing the person who has not spoken in the group and gently inviting them in. It means sensing when someone is uncomfortable and adjusting your own presence to make them feel safer. It means being the person who holds emotional space, not fills it with noise. You do not need to be the loudest or the smartest. You need to be the most attuned. That is what people remember. That is what makes them trust you. And that trust becomes the root of all meaningful connection. If you want to cultivate this habit, begin by slowing down. Ask yourself how you typically respond when emotions run high. Do you react or do you reflect? Practice naming your emotions before expressing them. Breathe before speaking. Observe before assuming. Then turn that awareness outward. In every interaction, look for what is not being said. Are they tense? Are they anxious? Are they silently asking to be heard? Respond to that. Meet people where they are, not where you wish they were. Emotional intelligence is not about controlling others, it is about mastering yourself so that you can connect with others more deeply. When you live this way, you become a source of calm in a chaotic world. People lean into your energy because it feels safe. It feels real. And in that safety, they see the best version of themselves reflected back. That is what makes you unforgettable. Not your charm, not your eloquence, but your ability to make people feel held, even in silence. Emotional intelligence and social awareness are not loud skills. They are soft, subtle, but they are powerful enough to transform every relationship in your life. And they begin with one simple choice: to lead with heart, with intention, and with grace. Habit number 11. Consistency and reliability. There is a rare kind of power in a person who shows up again and again, not because they seek applause or attention, but because they live with integrity. In a world where people so often break their word, cancel last minute, or shift with the winds of convenience, being consistent is an act of rebellion. And it is beautiful. Quietly, powerfully, undeniably beautiful. Reliability is not something you talk about, it is something people feel when they know they can count on you. It does not have to be loud. It does not need grand statements or emotional pleas. It just shows up. Every single time. Being consistent means you do what you said you would do, even when no one is watching. Especially when no one is watching. It means your words and your actions are aligned. Your presence is stable. Your energy is grounded. You are not swayed by moods or distractions. You become the kind of person others feel safe with, not because you promise everything, but because you follow through on the things that matter. And that reliability builds quiet admiration. People may not say it aloud, but they remember the one who didn't flake. The one who showed up. The one who kept the rhythm steady when life got noisy. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius said to stop debating what a good man should be, and just be one. That is the essence of consistency. You do not explain it. You embody it. And people feel the calm that radiates from your discipline. Consistency is not just about others, it is about you. It is how you build self-respect. When you do what you told yourself you would do, you begin to trust your own word. You do not need motivation because your actions are rooted in your identity. You begin to show up not for approval, but because that is who you are now. Consistency also means being emotionally reliable. It means not being a storm one day and silence the next. It means being steady, patient, and responsive. You listen when others speak. You keep your tone calm when emotions rise. You bring peace into chaos simply by not adding to it. That emotional steadiness is rare, and people feel it like a gentle anchor in turbulent waters. To cultivate this habit, start by honoring your smallest promises. Whether it is waking up at the time you said you would, or showing up to the place you committed to, begin with little things. Over time, you will notice the ripple effect. Your energy changes. Your confidence builds. And others notice too. They may not say anything, but they will come to you when they need someone solid. Someone real. Someone dependable. When your actions are consistent, your character becomes undeniable. You do not need to speak it. You become it. In that silent rhythm of showing up again and again, you earn trust. You earn respect. And most importantly, you earn your own peace. Consistency is quiet, but its impact is thunderous. It is the habit that turns intentions into identity. And in a world full of noise, there is nothing more attractive than someone who simply keeps their word. Every time. No matter what. True attractiveness was never about being loud. It was never about chasing eyes in a room or seeking constant validation. It was always about presence. Quiet presence. The kind that walks into a space and changes the atmosphere without needing to say a word. Throughout this journey, you have seen what that kind of presence is made of. 11 habits. Each one rooted in intention, in discipline, in quiet strength. Not one of them requires you to become someone you are not. They ask only that you align with who you truly are. That you stop looking outward for approval and start living inward with clarity. And when you do, something shifts. You begin to carry yourself differently. People feel it before they understand it. They sense your calm, your control, your depth. And they are drawn to it. Not because you tried to impress them, but because you reminded them of something powerful. That stillness has weight. That silence can speak louder than words. And that true confidence never needs to shout. If this message resonated with you, if it made you pause and reflect, then do me a small favor. Subscribe to Stoic Legacy. It helps this message reach others who need it, those who are ready to stop performing and start becoming. Share it with someone who needs to be reminded of their strength. Leave a comment and tell me which habit hit home for you. This is not just a channel, it is a place for those walking the quiet path, the grounded path, the path that builds respect without noise. Stay stoic and build your stoic legacy.